Okay, hello everyone. This is Sharonda, and this is my YouTube channel and YouTube podcast, Spiritual Sense. All right, so today is Friday the 13th. I decided to go ahead and a few months since I last did a reading, and so we're going to proceed to do that now. I like to stress that this podcast, as well as this YouTube channel, is for entertainment, informational, and sometimes educational purposes. I guess it just depends on what topic or what I'm doing for that particular episode. Okay, so for those who may be listening in or will be tuning, if you go on my YouTube, let me turn this up. Okay. I'm hoping you are able to hear. If you go on my YouTube channel, which is Magic Mind Medium, and then you can go through the library. I did a year ago because I watched it on yesterday regarding Friday the 13th. It's video one, video two. So you are more than welcome to go on there and view that content about my take on Friday the 13th. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. We're working with the Mrs. Cleo's cards. All right, so I'm going to do a general reading, but the reading that I think I'm going to do on is in regards to how are we going in terms of the economy, the government, the mass deportations that are occurring in California and things of that nature. So let me go ahead. I'm going to do my 7 card tree spread that I myself created. Pull this up a little bit so you are able to see. Oh gosh. All right, let's just lay this here. Let's see. Hopefully you can see. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that I actually cover up um that I can actually cover up close this. So I see now. Okay. All right, so we're gonna do a 7 card. Okay, first things first, we're gonna start off with the economy. How are things going with the economy and things of that nature in regards to the tariffs and all of that? So let's see what the card indicates. Again, this podcast is for entertainment purposes. It is for entertainment purposes. All right, so give me 7 cards. All right, let's go with those. 1, 2, 3. I need 4 more. It's been a few months since I did my tarot cards, so I want to make sure that I still got the gist of tarot card reading. All right, and let's get 3 more cards, and that's that. All righty, so 1, 2. Hopefully you can see the cards. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And let's go ahead and get this get this adjusted so you're able to view. Oh Lord. All right. Okie dokie. All right. So the first card I have, if you're cups, Page of Cups. The cups has a lot to do with feelings and emotions. The swords has a lot to do. I got to get myself back into the groove of things because I totally have forgot a lot of it. The swords has a lot to do with the mindset and thoughts. Cups has to do with feelings and emotions, um, and things of that nature. So, this being said, I think and looking at this here, I'm going to say that this is in representation of how we are feeling in terms of what is going on economically in the country. I think people are mostly concerned about family and taking care of their family, particularly their children, is what I feel. That's what my interpretation of this card is. At this time, the main focus is on raising their family and their children and things of that nature, which is true. Okay. Um, Now, the next card I have here is the Nine of Coins. Of course, we know what coins represent. So we want to say that what's most important is our finances. I think that is what the main focus is in terms of, um, this administration, the politics, and red tape, all of that is going on. We're concerned mostly is with in terms of raising children. Uh, the next one I have here is Four of Coins. So as you see this here, this person sitting there, and it's the Four of Coins. I think a lot of emotions are tied to that, if that makes sense to anybody. Like a lot of emotions are tied to um providing and sustaining um not only finances but also um a level head, because I think right now, as things transpire right before our eyes, some things that are monumental. Oftentimes it's easy to see things afar, but when you're going through the storm, oh my God, yes. So this is how God lets us know about the potential of our future when we see it in others. When we can see what you was dealing with now, if that makes sense to anybody. Like God would give you a prequel as to, okay, when things was all fine and dandy in your corner, and you turned a blind eye to these things because you thought that it would not affect you, but now it's coming to the forefront that you know we are all on a what a spiritual plane, a spiritual cycle. It happens in stages. So your future, the very people or the very things that you choose to not want to pay attention to will become your future, right? Now of course we also want to be realistic about what's to come, because if you're able to acknowledge, then you can weather the storm. You'll be prepared, if that makes sense to anybody. So I had a Hierophant card here, as in the past. When I get the Hierophant card, it's in relation to anarchy, like against government. So I think it's a representation of how, the attitude that we, all of us, are guilty of it, not just no one particular group or what have you. We're all guilty of judging others. We're all guilty of, oh, that's not going to happen to me, or oh, that's what she get, or that's what he get. However, that's not the right way to be, because oftentimes, like I said, it's a warning. It's God letting you know, okay, this is to come. This is how you can weather the storm, right? We can never get beside ourselves. So as we stand now, I have Four of Cups. Again, cups has a lot to do with emotions. So I feel as though it's not just in one particular group, even though the focus is on a particular group, we all are in a spiritual battle, is what I feel, right? That's what I feel the course is saying. We are all in a spiritual battle, even though it may not be affecting you directly, but somehow indirectly, because we are all spiritually connected, whether it be favorable or not. It will. It's the point. Now, to come, I have Page of Swords. I think this is in relation to the youth and how they feel. So sit back, take a look, take note of, and see what are some of the challenges or what are some of the pitfalls or what are some of the things that I can change in the here to come, if that makes sense. Because as we know, history repeats itself. So we can't never get beside ourselves and think that, oh, you know, that won't happen to me or that can't happen to me. You never, 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 never can get beside yourself. So I have Nine of Cups right now. I show there's a lot of pressure right now. If you can able to see this, a lot of pressure. Again, we got the cups here, Nine of Cups. A lot of pressure right now, under a lot of pressure. So I do feel as though a lot of people feel as though they're under pressure. They're concerned about their finances, taking care of their children, and how can we alleviate this pressure? How can we um, weather the storm, if that makes any sense? I'm going to go ahead and do a uh, past, present, and future with my past, present, future cards, my past life cards. And it's going to give us a little bit more insight about the economy and tariffs at this particular time. So bear with me just a moment. And I really like these cards, and they are on point. They really are. These past life cards, they are so on point. It's spooky. It's almost spooky, spooky. All right, so let's go ahead. It gave me a couple of cards, but I just need a past, present, and a future. Okay, so the way these cards work is, okay, so I have late middle ages time frame. So the way I equate that, because we're not doing no late middle ages, we're not doing an actual past life reading. I'm going to say those who are in their late middle ages. That's like 55 to maybe 65. I think it's a concern right now in terms of financial with you. I have obsessive love. Some of you may be obsessed with love or feeling love or not feeling love. So that is something you may want to consider in terms of taking care of what is important. As I show here, children, grandchildren, family, that is most important. That's what you need to focus on, is what it lets me know. That's the main thing that you need to focus on. And also your health. Don't get so fixated in hype, because propaganda can facilitate a spiritual transition if you allow it to, right? I have witness. Right now, a lot of us are witnessing some things that may have occurred in our past or maybe to come in our future. If it not us directly, it may be indirectly, right? Let's turn this over. I have prophecy and gifts lessons. I think a lot of prophecy is coming upon a lot of those who are out here, um, that may be in some type of faith base, whether it's spirituality or church or whatever the case may be, some type of religious sect. But I think prophecy comes to us all. You may not necessarily be a prophet or prophetess, but I think God is going to bestow images and messages within us in our dreams. I oftentimes get prophecy in the wee hours of the night, in dreams, even waking up. Sometimes I go into a zone where he's putting images in my head, and it may not necessarily be as catastrophic as it appear to be. It could very well be that it's something biologically going on with me that I need to take more caution to, if that makes sense. So, but I do feel as though it has the murder card here. If you are able to see, murder, witness. So I think a lot of us is going to have prophecy in terms of transitions that may occur, death, and things of that nature. All right. I have well informed, wisdom keeper. A lot of us are well informed. That means we are well aware of what's to come. But God will give you prophecy where you have understanding and more clarity, if that makes sense. Lover identity. So some of us have lover identity, is what it mentions here. So some of us, it could be a situation based on what I'm pulling up here where somebody may have even witnessed a murder or may be able to foresee what's to come on a more personal level in terms of death or transition, spiritual transition. So these gifts are going to be home to whomever God choose for it to be home to, if that makes sense to anybody. Okay. um I think the late to middle ages, he's going to begin to touch those in that age bracket, I feel, who may have judged, right? Who may have judged and misinterpreted what they seen in others as being mentally ill or challenged, until it reaches home and you're able to see, oh my God, this is exactly what this is. This is exactly what this is. This is prophecy before my eyes, right? Right. Okay. So that is it for that particular topic. And this is not going to be a long podcast because, again, this is what? Friday the 13th. I decided to go come on here and do a reading. All right, so we discussed about the economy, how do people feel in terms of the economy and things of that nature, in terms of finances and things. So, of course, you don't want it to get you sidetracked, right, to where you may do some things unfavorable. The best thing is not to waste money. That's number one. And number two, don't get beside oneself, if that makes sense, because um, as I just mentioned, your future sits right there before you. The past, present, and future sits. The past and the future sits right here in the present. So we are in the present right now, right as we speak. Oftentimes, we'll see people go through things that reminds us of our past. Oftentimes, we'll see people go through things that will warn us about our future. So that's what I mean when I say the past and the present. Future is sits right here in the present. All right. All righty. So it looks like somebody is watching. Can I ask a question? It mentions. Sure, you're more than welcome to ask a question. What do you want to ask? What do you want to know? Let's see what the cards. Hey, I'm I'm just a vessel. I'm a medium, so I only can interpret the cards how I interpret the cards. You may be able to interpret it how you want to interpret it. So if you want to ask the card something, be my guest. What's coming up in your life? Okay. When you say what's coming up in your life, are you talking about financial? Are you talking about love? Is it love or is it financial? Financial. Career. Okay. So you want to know how things are going to be for you in terms of career. All right. Well, let's see what the cards show. Let me go ahead and let's pull out some more cards here. How about that? Let's pull out some more cards, and we can go from there. I'll let you know what the cards indicate in terms of career. Okay. Now, if I can ask, what type of career are you aspiring get or in? I don't want to ask too many personal questions. or what have you, because I don't want you to feel like I'm a fraud, because I'm not a fraud. This is a pastime. It is Friday the 13th, and that's why I decided to come on here. I've been doing tarot cards for like about 6 years now, 5 or 6 years, and medical. Okay, so you're in the medical field. Okay. Well, congratulations. I am as well. So let's see what the cards indicate in terms of career. Let's see. Now, I'm going to let you know that I am a medium, but I'm not big. I know a little bit about astrology, numerology, or what have you. So I do have spiritual gifts. Am I 100% accurate? No. A lot of it is presumptive, but we're just going to read the tarot and go from there, right? All right. So give me and you are V, waiting for exam results. So are you someone um are you someone that is currently in the medical field, or you say you're waiting for exam results? So are you talking about like a boards? Are you in school, or um are you actively working in the medical field? Because we want to test the synchronicity of the cards. And I promise you, if you get you some cards and begin to work with it, I promise you it is just as accurate as. Okay, so you're done with school. All right. Okay, dokie. So let's go ahead. Let's see what it mentions in terms of career guidance. All righty. All right. So we got one, two, three. Let's pull out four more. You know what? I think I'm gonna do three with those, and I'm gonna do uh four with these cards here. This is Cleo's cards, and we're gonna get a synopsis about career guidance with you. Now, in terms of numerology, in terms of your birth date, um, so basically, you can go on, and I pull this up as well. Numerology.com, numerology. Calculator. All right, so on astro-seek.com. Okay, so your date of birth is what? Right. Okay, March 21st, 2006. All right, let's take a look. Let's see. So I'm on Astro. It's numerology.astro-seek.com. Okay, so based on this, it mentions that you are a life path number 5, character and possibility. It says these people need movement and change, and they like to travel. They search for freedom and adventure. They are open to new things and ideas. They have an inclination for leadership. They are ambitious, but they are also very sensitive and avoid routine and boredom. They are impressed by people who are able to convince them in some area. The weaknesses is that um, these people should be careful not to succumb to sudden ideas, instability, inclination to nervousness and restlessness. They should keep a balance in the emotional, professional, and financial areas. They do not like rules and restrictions and cannot be forced to do something. Beware of accidents, is what it mentions here. So that's basically what it mentions in terms of your numerology of your birth date, okay? Now we're going to go ahead. We're going to proceed with your 7 card tree spread in regards to your career guidance. So let's do that now. And please, um, this is for entertainment purposes. So don't take, if it comes out unfavorable, don't take a lot of it to heart. And I'm actually going to lay these cards exactly as they lay. I'm not going to turn them over. If it's meant to be turned over, then that's what is going to do. Okay. So the first card I get is futility. Now, futility, as we know, is uselessness, but it was turned in the opposite. So that lets me know that it's the opposite of uselessness. That means that it's very useful, right? It's, you say you gave an exam for admission, for going to medical college. So I think you are needed. Is basically what the cards say, right? However, it was turned in the opposite. So I think you are well needed. So if that's your passion, if that's what you really want to do, then you should pursue that based on the cards. I have the moon card here. Oftentimes, when I get the moon card, is in relation to secrets or something to come about. So it's something I think is pulling you towards this medical field. Oftentimes, people that gravitate, because I'm in the medical field myself. Oftentimes, people that gravitate to the medical field, typically something is medically potentially going on with them or someone that they love or know, right? So that's one of the reasons why I feel the moon card shows up. I have 3 of Cups. So I do feel as though you do have some support. Okay, you said you're scared of the exam results. Okay, well, um, I mean, hey, when I took my nursing board, I was a little nervous as well, but you'll get over it. You'll get over it. If you have to take it another time, I mean, I think you get a couple of times or what have you before you have to wait. So some meditation music and ease your mind. Go on YouTube and put on anxiety meditation music and just get yourself in a Indian style pose and just proceed to listen to that frequency of that meditation music to calm you. Because if you allow apprehension and negativity to come in, you will self sabotage yourself before you even have a chance. Okay. But I do show that there, it looks as though there's some support there. We have 3 of Cups. So as you can see, these 3 are in celebration. I don't know who of those 3 persons will be in your life. Maybe some loved ones or mate and loved ones. But I do show you do have support in regards to this decision that they're rooting for you. That this will be your family. I have King of Staffs here. So um, that lets me know that there's someone in a let's see, it could be a father figure, it could be a mentor, it could be they on your side as well, right? Like they rooting for you that things will work out favorable for you. Now I do have the Ace of Coins to show up here. It looks as though there may be a little bit of envy. Don't look into that energy. That's some negative energy. That's why I was turned upside down. So maybe some because as we all know, everybody is not going to be rooting for our cause, right? Particularly if some unfavorable things. A lot of people don't like the medical field. You know, there is not for everybody. It's the point. So everybody is not going to be receptive to you getting into that field. Okay. I have defeat card. Now, if you can see, the defeat card is turned in the opposite as well. So it may be a situation where you may get a little bit of apprehension and just learn to take some slow, deep breaths and move that negative energy away because you are needed even in the medical field. There's always a need for uh, persons in that field. All right, now I have the Prince of Disc, the day trader. Okay, good deal. Good deal. Good deal, the day trader. So things are going to work out for you. You don't have anything to worry about because the medical field is always a need in the medical field, even though I'm more or less a holistic type of person, but I can still work in the medical field. I mean, my beliefs are not always everyone else believes. So how one choose to believe, that's them. Okay, okay. Now, so yeah, so I'm because that's what you asked me to do. That's what I went with was the seven chord. Um, okay. Yeah, there may be some hater information, and it may be a situation I got. So one of the things that you may want to be concerned about is, you know, hater or negative energy. It's going to present itself no matter where you go. That's just the way life works. Okay. You may be in a situation where your focus may be with helping those who have some issues with substance as well. So that may be a option for you. Now, if you like, I could go ahead and do a four card. Oh, past, present, and future. Now these cards are pretty accurate. Pretty accurate. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm gonna say a little prayer, and I'm going to ask Spirit to give me some information that I can pass on to you in regards to this four card spread that I'm about to do. Okay. All righty. All right. So I have guilty conscience here. So do you somehow feel guilty about this decision? I have guilty conscience here. Maybe somebody make you feel guilty, or somehow you feel guilty or unworthy of this adventure. I have murderer. It could be a situation where you do sometimes. Okay, it may not necessarily be murderer, but it could be a situation where somebody that you know may have suspected um that the health field didn't do what they wanted to do, and they want to put their emphasis on you. And sometimes you may kind of think about that. I get jealousy here, so I don't know who this jealous person is, but I see the day trader comes up, so we don't know who that jealous person is, but I don't feel like it's coming from this king of staffs. Let's turn this over. LGBT love. I don't know if you are LGBT or you know someone who is like this. This could be the very person that is the jealous person that's putting that negative energy towards you, if that makes sense to you. Become more natural. So it could very well be that this person, whomever, may be fake or phony. Give me just a moment. Okay, it could be a very fake or phony person or what have you. All right, it says more becoming more natural, enlightened, wisdom keeper. Okay, so I do show that you are enlightened. You may be changed. Oftentimes, when we change to become better, as I mentioned, many people are not going to be receptive to that. And let me show you. It says becoming more natural, right? And it mentions enlightened. So if you're able to view that, oftentimes when we are coming into our destiny to be our best self, everybody is not going to be receptive to a new us. Everybody's not going to be receptive to that. I have public execution. I think you may, if you don't know who this person, and please don't go looking for enemies, but if you stay in accordance with God, if you stay right, God is going to put it out, right? Like you just, it's just going to show you straightforward. This is not for this person, is not for me. It says public execution death. Right. I have developed a rise of civilization. It's going to show itself right before your eyes. Everybody is not going to be too happy about your success if that makes sense to you. That's just the way life works. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna proceed with what the cards mentions in regards to um the mass deportation. So I will be doing that now. Yeah, you just have to stay focused. That's the only thing I can, the best advice I can give you is to stay focused, right? Because it's easy to get oneself sidetracked out here, especially particularly when we on our destiny, right? You're gonna have positive energy. You're also gonna have negative energy that's going to try to stray you away. That's just the way it works. All right, so let's go into the mass deportations and what's occurring in California. So, what does the cards mention in regards to the mass deportations? Let's go ahead and do a reading. Let's see. And this 7 card spread, I came up with this myself. Card 1 being what the reading's on. Card 2 and 3 are the participating factors or people. Uh, let's see, that's 2 and 3. 4, 5, and 6 is past, present, future. Outcome or resolution or solution will be card 7. You're welcome. All right, so let's see. The mass deportation. What does it mention about that? Okie dokie. Let's see. Like I said, I just decided to do this because it is Friday the 13th. And it's been a few months since I last recorded, last did a tarot. All righty, let's get 3 more cards. All right, and let's get one more. One more card. Uh-oh. Okie dokie. All right, so we got star, star, star. So I think this is the stars to me is a representation of something that is notable that goes down in history, right? As we know, the stars in the sky. This is something notable to be taken is history making or groundbreaking, if I should say something notable. Um, I have 8 of coins. I have strength. So I think it has a lot to do with words and worth and value for one's words is what I think the main thing is in terms of the mass deportation, past, present, and future. Okay, so we got the Ace of Cups turned upside down. Turn upside down. Um, I want to say that a lot of this is spiritual, something that I felt like God wants us to know. I think it's something that God wants us to pay attention to, something notable. I have Knight of Swords. Yes. We need to pay attention to these things that are transpiring right now, things that are happening in history, groundbreaking right now. Is what it lets me know. I have 4 of Cups as the outcome. Right. I think we're being monitored right now and watched as to how we are interacting, and if we are sensitive to the needs of others, if that makes sense. That's what I feel is going on right now, more or less like a character test. If I can trust you, if I can count on you, and things of that nature. So that's what I feel that is. Now let's go ahead, and I'm going to pull out three more cards. One, two, and three. The first card is husband identity. Again, who you're married to, who can you trust? Grandparent identity. Who were your parents married to? Their identity. I have ignorance here. Fall of civilization. I think a lot of people are ignorant to the fact of where they come from and potentially where they're headed. I have sexual assault victim card here, or what have you. And in this instance, we know what sexual assault is, but I'm not going to necessarily say sexual assault. What I will say is that is a representation of where our founding roots are, if that makes sense. The next one I have is leadership leader. Right. I think a lot of it is being a lack of direction or guidance, if that makes sense to anybody. And the next one I have is ignorance. And let's turn that over. I have suicide and death. See, that's the thing. I think a lot of people are being misled, and in terms of the mass deportation, and a lot of people don't want to take ownership for their own quote unquote own people, if that makes sense to anybody. So a lot of deception I feel is in the works in terms of identity, if that makes sense, racial identity and things of that nature. Because, many times you'll oftentimes find that your own quote unquote will hang you high and dry. And I think that's what's occurring right now. No one wants to take responsibility for their actions. They want to blame it on the other, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. So that is that for the economy, the mass deportations. All right. So let's go ahead and get some more clarity. Again, this podcast YouTube channel is for entertainment purposes. It is for entertainment purposes. See, I have the judgment card here. If you can see the judgment card, see, a lot of people are under judgment. I'm not one to judge on this particular thing, but I think when you sit back and you're not sensitive to people's issues and concerns, and you feel as though, oh, that won't happen to me, you'll be the very one that happens to, is what I feel as though source or spirit wants to be conveyed, if that makes sense to anybody. All right, so let's go with these Urban Tarot cards. And you know what? I almost forget my favorite cards. Let's go with these. So let's pull. I got to get me some more cards. I really do. I really, really do. Because the tarot cards tells a story. It really do. And if you're willing to pay attention, they do tell a story. All right, so let's go with these here. Alrighty. Friday the 13th. Friday. What the source wants me to convey in regards to the tarot cards. Oh. Hmm. Mhm. Okay, so I want to know if we are actually in world. Will there be will there be some type of attack on American soil? And that's what I want to know because I think we are in World War III. It's more or less spiritual, but would there actually be an attack in regards to these things that are transpiring? Okay, so let's see what source wants me to know. I think a lot of it is cyber attack, spiritual attack. Two, three, four, five, six. Let's get one more. Um, I actually had a inclination that we did have an attack on American soil, but I think more or less people have gotten woken up more to where we can prevent a lot of these things if we are more conscientious about suspicious activity, right? And get the right groups involved. But I do know that it's more or less psychological, spiritual, and technological. So I have nine of cups here, nine of cups, emotional as well, right? Emotional, psychological is what I'm getting at. The next card I have here, I have the Knight of Wands, turn in the opposite. Knight of Wands. I think the ones Spirit just spoke to me and mentioned the ones that you think that are your friends are not going to be there for you. Is the point. So take heed to that. It's going to be a lot of backstabbing if it hadn't already occurred. It will be occurring during these times. Every man is going to be for him and herself during these times. The ones you thought that got your back won't. That's what it just spoke to me. Now, this may not resonate or apply to many people, but I do feel as though it applies to some. The next card I get here is the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords, breakthrough. Right. It's going to be a revelation that's going to come to a lot of individuals. I've been saying this for the longest. A lot of revelation is going to come to many individuals. I get the Devil card in the past. Um, I think mental illness is going to be psychological mental attack. I hate to use the word mental illness, but I think a lot of it is going to be psychological attack to get you to believe something that is not true. If you are listening in or viewing in or will be tuning in, check out my episode about psychic attack battle for the mind versus body and soul. And I give you a synopsis about my take on quote attack towards the mind is more or less psychologically. Whatever you will accept is what will um out is what you take, right? So if you accept defeat, then you've already been defeated. All right, I have 10 of coins here. 10 of coins. I think a lot of people are concerned about their legacy, leaving a legacy, concerned about finances, as I mentioned before. Um, but I think is all in what you make it too. Again, reiterating, whatever you accept will be your reality. It's psychological. It's a battle towards the mind to get you to believe something that may not necessarily be true, right? I have 9 of coins here, right? The wealth is in the health right now, just in case that hasn't become apparent to many people out here. Wealth is in the health, not only physical, but mentally, emotional health as well. Because if you break the wheel, if you work on the mind, the body will fall in suit, right? So if I can get you in your mind where you have already defeated, and the body will what fall in suit, right? It's in the mind. We are in a spiritual attack, if that makes sense, in the body. You can self will yourself into death. That's just the way it works. You have to be strong. Trust me. Hey, I can sit here and teach, preach, and advocate all day long. Then I can get in my rut to where I'm like, okay, these are the last days. We all will go through that at one point in time in life or another. That's just the way it works. So the solution, I have food. I think food in this instance, if you can see that card, it's going to be a lot of deception. It's going to be a lot. It is a lot of deception, is what I feel. A lot of people are going to begin to see shape shifting and spirits. And if you go back and look at my episode where I mentioned about the rapture and how you'll be able to detect a spiritual um you'll be able to pick up on energies, auras, and things of that nature. That is true. That is so true. uh that is the truth. Let's go ahead and pull out what lies in these cards. Oh, I just see a deer. Oh my gosh, I've never seen a deer out here. It's a deer roaming about. Hmm. This is my first time seeing a deer out here. Okay. All right. See a deer, a deer, a deer. Recording. Some of you may feel as though that you're being recorded or you're being watched, betrayal, backstab, or deceived. I'm gonna explain something to you. Those are media monitoring watching spirits, is what that is. Media monitoring watching spirits. You got them in all corners. So I get toxic. Do you see toxic? Uh-huh. Getting played, playing on one's intelligence, manipulation, lies, and control. So some of you may feel that way. Um, coming up, you may feel that way, right? I want. I have anger management and I have sexual protection. Some of you need to protect yourself sexually, and you also need to control your anger. Okay, these was what fell out. So let me go ahead and check yourself. You need to be concerned about yourself. Stop getting out here trying to create havoc and chaos for others. You need to be concerned about number one, because there's going to be some things that's going to reveal in these up and coming months. And that's not being negative, that's being truthful, right? And as I speak to you, I speak to myself because I have, you know, we all got something we're dealing with, right? I have police. Police. The police can be policed. It's the point. This goes for all. The police can be policed, huh? Because we are in a spiritual warfare. We are in a spiritual warfare. Mm-hmm. We are. We are. The next card I get, setting the record straight. I think God is going to. There's going to be some targets to set the record straight. spiritually prophecy and things of that nature. Right. Falling apart, falling into things are going to fall into pieces. Right? Things are going to fall into pieces these up and coming months. They are. Oh, shit's about to pop up in flames, is what it mentions. Yeah, it's going to be some things that's going to transpire that's not going to be favorable. And I think this is the testament is to learn from others, not only yourself and your transgressions or your mistakes, but to be prepared for what's to come. Because I'm not one, when I see people going through stuff, I'm not one to be, oh, I'm not going to go through it. No, 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 no. You can't say that. Sometimes this is how God warned us is through others, right? Okay, dokie. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to do a 4 card of my past life in regards to what's to come. And again, this podcast, YouTube channel is for entertainment, informational, and educational purposes, right? Okay. All right, so I have emancipated slave, enslavement. Some of you may feel as though you're enslaved, but I think it's more or less psychologically. Emancipated slave. That is going to break away. I have agnostic or atheist faith. Many of you, I feel, are going to turn away from the things that you once believed and no longer believe those things because I think prophecy is going to be bestowed upon you to where you can see things for what they truly are, right? Because some of us has been discouraged from thinking. Some of us has been discouraged from feelings, discouraged from expressing ourselves to be a free thinker and to have an opinion about a lot of things. But that would soon turn. We are all entitled to our own opinions. I mean, that's life. So let me go ahead and proceed with the spirit animal totem. Since deer, I'm going to read on the deer. Read on deer. Let's read on deer. Oh gosh. All right, I'm gonna have to put this in the up here to search. Let's see. Am I able to search? Let's see. Through Z. Hmm. Let's see what we got here. Bear with me just a moment. Okay, so the animal totem deer. Let's click on there. It actually was a doe, but it's still a deer. Okay, so it said spirit animal with its graceful antlers and gentle gaze. The deer symbolizes calm, inner peace, and a return to nature. Deer are among the most beloved and revered of spirit animals for their greatness. Their gentle composure. When we see a deer in our lives, it is often a sign to reflect on these qualities. In this article, we're going to go over the symbolisms, the positive meanings of the deer, ability to move through life and obstacles with grace, gentle, peaceful nature, innocence, purity, being sensitive and intuitive, a strong connection to the natural world, vigilance, ability to change directions quickly, magical ability to regenerate, heal yourself, spiritual guidance. The shadow meanings of deer include fearful, tendencies, timidity, feeling vulnerable, defenselessness, being innocent to the point of naivety, being overly of emotional fragility, being easily led astray or deceived, lack of assertiveness. That's what it mentions here. So, when I see a deer, deers tend to not be aggressive and they tend to be a little bit of timid, which, because, when I think those are personality traits and characteristics is if you are planning on staying on this earth for a long time, right? These personality traits will hone you when you are around and things of that nature. It will behoove you when God sends this type of energy your way to alert you about when someone looking to commit a transition, if that makes sense to anybody. I have lawyer here, lawyer. So there may be some legal issues to come up. Walking the lesson, right? Yeah, if you want to stay straight laced, um, coming up in the next few months, some of you may have some negative energy to come towards you because when revelation comes to you, when there's truth or secrets revealed to you, oftentimes the energy space will feel threatened because you know something that they didn't want exposed or known, right? So you have to be conscientious of the energy space around, if that makes sense to anybody. I have use of technology. Some of you, the use of technology, be careful with the use of technology. I have late modern age time frame. Again, some of us are not technologically savvy and maybe off into some things that may not be favorable where we could be exposed. So we have to be very careful and conscientious of that. Island location is what it mentions here. So it could be someone who's either from the islands or located in the island. That makes sense to anybody. Okay. The next card I have, struggle. Yeah, it could be a situation where someone is struggling with their appearance, or it may be a situation where you may not feel um secure in how you look or how you feel and how you appear or appear to others. Is the point. Okay. All right. So I am going to go ahead and end with a dark reading because it is Friday the 13th, right? And we know how Halloween, Friday the 13th, the witching hour, the witches, devil's hour, witching season can go. So we want to be aware of that negative energy. However, we want to also bring in the light because the light can shed and do away those negative forces, right? Right. So something lets me know somebody is watching. That's basically what that is. When I see um that I haven't seen before, that lets me know someone is watching. That's basically what that is. Someone is watching. All right, so this is what? This is Friday the 13th. Righty. So we're gonna do a dark reading. More cards. I really do. I do. All right. And I just seen a little dog that I hadn't seen before. Well, I think I've seen it all a few times before. Yep. Alrighty. And this may not be all of my dark cards, but this is what I'm going to go with. I'm just going to do a past, present, and future in regards to Friday the 13th. What does the source or spirit once conveyed in regards to your Friday the 13th? Alrighty. And let's do two more cards. Uh-oh. Okay, dokie. All right, so I feel as though there's some secrets that need to be revealed. Whoever is listening in or will be tuning in, I think that there is some secrets that are going to um be revealed to you um by next Thursday. By next Thursday, in regards to something that you may be wondering about. Um yes. Get the sun card. So that's illumination. Something that you already know you're wondering about. I have hunter. So you probably wondering if somebody is watching or following up behind you. That I think they are, and it's going to present itself to you. All right, let's go ahead and pull out a couple of these manifestation cards, and we're gonna get to the nitty gritty. Um, think it's be honest with you. I think it's spiritual. If that makes sense, it's something spiritual. Remembrance. I get the remembrance card. So this is someone that has passion, and I get spring. Yeah, I don't know if this person transition in the springtime, but they are attached to you. Yes, they're attached to your energy. They still come around. They're attached to your energy, and that's the Godson's truth. They are. I think they're there for guidance to alert you about fake and phoniness, if that makes sense to anybody. Their energies is still there. Let me go ahead and pull out a couple of these here. Yeah. You are I feel as though whoever this reading is for, you are a you could be a sorcerer or a sorceress, witch or warlock, but don't even know it. That's the thing. That it's the thing. I got Forest. Says Nine of Cups teaches logic, ethics, and the values of earth and stone. Can make one invisible, helps one to be intelligent and long lived, can recover lost items and find treasures. Something lets me know that that could very well be your calling. Is to get off into um may not necessarily be, you know, witchcraft, hoodoo, voodoo, but get off into spirituality where you're able to guide others in regarding their some things that are going on with them, if that makes sense. I have Barbados, Ten of Pentacles, understands the tongues of animals, uncovers treasures hidden by magicians, reconciles friends and enemies. Right. So I think this right here is an indication that you're able to provide spiritual guidance to those who may not have, you got some people in this life experience where they never met a stranger. Everyone is their friend. If I smile, if I speak, if I look right, no. So I think you will be a voice of reason to those who may not necessarily um see things realistic, if that makes sense to you. you know. Um, Regardless in this life, regardless of how you are, you just got certain energies out here that they could care less about all of that. They just they if they don't like you, they just don't like you, and that's just plain and simple. So I think you'll be a voice of reason to those individuals who are like that makes sense. Okay. Um Now whether you go and be what a witch doctor and all that, I'm not suggesting that you do that. A spiritualist is someone who knows spirit, have been around long enough to detect fake and flakiness and phoniness, if that makes sense. All right. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and end this podcast. Any questions, comments, or suggestions, or a topic for a future show, you are more than welcome to comment below. Again, you can go on my YouTube podcast, which is also entitled Spiritual Magic Mind Medium. I'm sorry, Magic Mind Medium, formerly Spiritual Sense, and you can look at a variety of topics that I have spoke on in regards to spirituality, hoodoo, voodoo, curses. Let's see, psychometry, battle for the mind, body, and spirit, and things of that nature, the rapture and nirvana and everything like that. So until then, have a safe and wonderful day.